We'll wait and see what happens in terms of what the Russian endgame is. But Gaurav Sawant, thanks very much for joining me. Stay well, stay safe there in Kyiv. Now remember, this is about also one man's ambition. Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, the second longest serving Russian head of state, his determination to what would seem to effect a regime change in Ukraine, a country with 44 million people. Why is it that Vladimir Putin is obsessed with Ukraine? Why is it that this is the country he wants to take over? Let's take a look at the life and times of Vladimir Putin. What does Putin really want? Why is he waging this war? Take a look at the answers that lie in Moscow.
I am ceasing my activities in the post of President of the USSR.
The year was 1991, and on the day of Christmas, Mikhail Gorbachev, the last leader of the Soviet Union, announced that the USSR had ceased to be. Weeks later, Lieutenant Colonel Vladimir Putin had quit the now defunct and one-time dreaded KGB and was on his way to St. Petersburg. His world lay shattered around him. His future looked bleak.
Клянусь при осуществлении полномочий президента Российской Федерации.
Decades later, as the president of the Russian Federation, he would call the Soviet collapse the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century. Who is Vladimir Putin? This former KGB agent, his aura very carefully crafted, meticulously drafted. Like in 2008, when he was Prime Minister, Putin, along with journalists, was visiting a wildlife reserve in Siberia when a tiger charged towards a TV crew. Before anyone else could react, Putin apparently shot the beast and sedated it with a tranquilizer gun. This was reported as a headline on Russia television, but the action was never captured on camera. Years later, in an interview to a Russian magazine, Putin admitted that the incident was staged. It was done to draw attention to a species under threat, he claimed. And that seems to sum up the driving philosophy of Vladimir Putin. Trained in the elite spy school of Soviet Union, he remains a master of misdirection.
The Russian Federation, there will be no war. We don't want war, but we will not allow violating our interests.
The force driving Vladimir Putin seems to be his desire to make Russia great again. In the process, Putin has gathered powers that has rendered him Tsar of all he surveys, while undermining the institutions that strengthen democracy.
There was Alexander the Liberator and Yaroslav the Wise. We will have Vladimir, the underwear poisoner. That is how he will go down in history.
His detractors have been jailed, the latest and most formidable being Alexei Navalny, the leader of the Russian opposition. Before he was jailed, he had survived an assassination attempt. Many believe it was Vladimir Putin who had ordered his assassination with a Soviet-era nerve agent called Novichok. "30 years ago, when Ukraine declared its independence, it had the third biggest pile of nuclear weaponry in the world. That was its share of the nuclear arsenal of the Soviet Union. Only USA and Russia had more. But in 1994, Ukraine had willingly given up its entire stockpile for the sake of peace. Both US and Russia stood guarantors to Ukraine's peace, signaling that Ukraine will never be in need of such weapons. In 2014, Putin went back on the promise that Russia had made and ordered the annexation of Crimea. The annexation of Crimea in 2014 stamped Putin's legacy as what began to be termed the gatherer of Russian lands. Vladimir Putin became not only the longest-serving leader in Moscow after Stalin, but also the first ruler since then to expand Russian territory. Putin's invasion of Ukraine is ostensibly to teach its leaders not to tango with the West. a warning to NATO to stay off Russian borders and to stop their eastward extension. But whatever be the reasoning, stretching from Putin's alleged megalomania to claimed genuine geopolitical considerations, the fallout is going to be harsh. No one knows what Putin wants. No one knows how far he'll go. The world watches in trepidation as life hangs in balance. And peace remains subject to the demons that plague the fantasy of a single man.